Welcome in to Blake and Noah LA2 Chicago Ep.4. And we know it's been a while, but we're glad to be back. I'm Noah Taborda alongside Blake Devine in Santa Barbara, California. And we're here to bring you all the latest news in the sports world. And we're very excited to do so. So without further ado, Blake Devine, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back on the show. We haven't had it for at least a month, I think. And the other time, episode 3 was not with me. It was David Korzanowski due to some technical problems on my computer. But back for episode 4 on the Infinity Sports Network. It's going to be a great episode today. And with that being said, we're going to be talking Major League Baseball. The season just wrapped up tonight. And now we have NCAA is our second topic, and then we have NFL, a very, very heavy slate of games today in the NFL. But with that being said, Noah, why don't you introduce our viewers to the Facebook page and to the Twitter page?
Yeah, of course. First of all, for Infinity Sports Network, you can find us on Facebook, just like it is Infinity Sports Network, on Twitter, at Infinity Sports, and capital I, capital S, and a capital N. And then for Blake and Noah, LA2 Chicago, just like that on Facebook. And then on Twitter, at Blake_and_Noah, capital for B and capital for N.
Okay, yeah, and with that being said, let's go through the number. Same number as always, everybody, 224-563-8444. One more time, 224-563-8444. And with that being said, Noah, let's start off with Major League Baseball, the last day of the season, regular season that is.
Yeah, as you said, Blake, just wrapped up, and of course that means it's playoff time, the magical month of October. And like all the MLB commercials say, there's only one October, and it's just around the corner now. We just wrapped up the season today. Of course, we had some sad farewells, and we're going to start with the minor one, but still close to my heart. Paul Konerko, of course, steps away from the game of baseball. One of the most underrated White Sox of all time, and, of course, World Series champion. But the bigger one, and the one that everybody's hearing about, Derek Jeter, the captain, played his final game, and the Red Sox, just a class act move, bringing out all those captains to congratulate him, the fans cheering him. It was a great sight. And Blake, I know you're a Red Sox fan. What do you think it says about the Red Sox organization that they would celebrate one of their most bitter rivals?
Yeah, it just says the quality of fans you have in Boston. I mean, Derek Jeter, he said it himself. If there was one place other than Yankee Stadium that he'd want to play his final Major League game in, it'd be Fenway Park. And that just speaks to the attribution of how good those Boston fans are to him. Although he's a hated player, he's on the Yankees, Red Sox fans hate Yankees, but it just shows the kind of caliber of a career and once in a lifetime kind of moment that this guy is going to remember for the rest of his life. Getting to play his final game at Fenway Park, getting that RBI single and his final at-bat, and also a victory on the day for the Yankees. Although they're not going to the postseason in Derek Jeter's final season, that's kind of a bummer, but you got to credit Derek Jeter, an outstanding career. He's been one of the most class-act guys we've had in baseball for a long time, and I don't know truly who's going to replace him.
Yeah, it's a sad day for baseball, and I think a lot of people, they undervalue what he did for this team. Sure, his numbers weren't eye-popping. It wasn't like he was the greatest player of all time. He's not the best shortstop of all time. And he's actually one of the worst defensive shortstops to play the game, but that you got to understand that it's more than just the numbers. And even when you talk about numbers, the greatest hitter in Yankees history per hits, lots of plate appearances benefit that, but he led them to 5 World Series championships. He was a class act on and off the field, not a guy who would parade himself around like a media hog. He went out there and did what had to be done. And I'm just going to call out Keith Olbermann today, or yesterday, a couple days ago, talked about Derek Jeter saying that he wasn't even that special and that he should have taken himself out if he wasn't playing well and that he should retire at Yankee Stadium. Well, to Keith Olbermann, I say you obviously are ignoring all the other facts besides what's just on the field. There's more to baseball, there's more to sports than what you see on the field. There are personality traits. There is what he brings to the table, how he captains a team, and how he embodied what the Yankees were for those past years. That's what set Derek Jeter apart, and that's what made Derek Jeter so special. And just on the Red Sox, I think that's a great thing that they did. You know, people call out Red Sox fans a lot of the time for being very egocentric about the Red Sox, thinking the Red Sox are always better than everybody. But to be honest, you know, this just shows that even fans who are just so passionate about their team can recognize one of their most hated rivals as the greatness that he was.
I mean, yeah, you just gotta leave it to Derek Jeter to finish your career in this way. One of the most special players we're ever gonna have in Major League Baseball, let alone like just in general professional sports. One of the classiest guys with all the media circus in New York. He was one of those guys that we never really heard too much about in a negative way. Always was known as a leader and as a winner. 4 World Series championship rings he has, I believe. Great player. He'll go down as one of the all-time greats in baseball. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's sad to see Derek Jeter go and Paul Konerko go as well, but there's plenty more in baseball to talk about. And now we switch our attention to some of the younger players in baseball, the players of the future and of today that have made an impact. So we're going to go with our award picks, and we're going to start with the biggest award of all, and that would be the MVP. But before we do that, we do have a caller on the line. We have Brendan Albertson. Brendan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Brendan. What do you want to talk about today?
I wanted to talk about the Derek Jeter thing. I'm just happy that the whole Derek Jeter Love Fest, the whole season long, is finally over.
Yeah, that is actually a reaction that a lot of people have had. You know, it's sad to see Derek Jeter go. I do have to agree with you that it is a little bit ridiculous the way that teams kind of paraded him around. They had so many going away gift baskets. It was kind of crazy. To think that Mo didn't get this send-off. There aren't going to be many players that do get this send-off. Albert Pujols, who is debatably, or is much better than him in my opinion, won't get this kind of send-off. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Brendan, when it comes to the the send-off and what the Red Sox did, what do you think of that?
I didn't see it. I was a little bit busy today, but I would say that the way Pete Frazier came out, that was pretty special. I did see something that Paul Pierce didn't have that much reaction, or whoever it was for the Celtics. I honestly have no comment in regards to the whole Derek Jeter celebration. I didn't see it. I saw snippets of it on Twitter, but I honestly have no comment.
Blake, so Brendan talking about the whole Love Fest. In your opinion, do you think it's appropriate for those baseball teams to do that, or do you think that they probably shouldn't have had that same level of love for the guy, giving him all of those gift baskets?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be totally honest, I mean, he does deserve some of the credit. It would have been one thing for just the American League East opponents and big rivals in the American League, but for every single stadium that give him an award, give him a gift basket, it was a little ridiculous, a little over the top. We saw last year with Mariano Rivera. It kind of feels like every year is the Yankees going away party with Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, and Derek Jeter. Let's talk about the current Yankees who aren't making the postseason. Rather than the old Yankees parading them away. Obviously, Derek Jeter deserves all the respect in the world, same with Mariano Rivera, but it was a little too much, and it kind of feels like it's gone on for 2 years rather than 1 year.
Yeah. Brendan, anything else you want to talk about?
I do agree with what Blake said about Mariano Rivera. It just seems like the past 2 seasons in a row, it's been all these send-offs for these good Yankees players.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. It seems like every year now there's somebody big retiring and everybody's parading him around. I understand why you do that, out of respect. But there are other guys who retire that deserve as much attention. I think it's kind of crazy that people haven't realized that Paul Konerko is retiring as well. And I know people are going to call me biased for this, but Paul Konerko was a World Series champion and he's one of the greatest White Sox of all time, but he barely got a send-off. Nobody noticed that he was going. And next year, we probably have somebody big go next year as well. And there'll be plenty of guys who won't get the respect they deserve. So I think that fans are just paying attention to the name. I think it's time to pay attention to everybody because I think everybody's important. When you have those big send-offs, I think it kind of undermines what those other great baseball players have done in their careers. Brendan, anything else?
Nothing much.
Okay, Brendan, thanks for calling in. Call in anytime.
No problem.
Okay, well, that was Brendan Albertson, one of our guys from Infinity Sports, also from the local Massachusetts area, a big old Red Sox fan. With that being said, let's move on to our award picks. And Noah, I'm going to start with you for both the National League and the AL MVP. Who deserves that award right now, in your opinion?
Well, the AL MVP, I don't have to say much. Mike Trout. He has the highest wins above replacement this year in the AL with 8 WAR. The guy is sensational. He has 111 RBIs that leads the American League. He has 36 home runs, 4 behind leader Nelson Cruz. He's an amazing defender. He can steal bases. Batted .287, .377 on-base percentage. Not quite what we are used to from Trout, but still an amazing year. And the guy is probably the best player in baseball right now, if not one of the top 2. I definitely think you got to give it to him. It's his year this year. Trout comes away with it in the AL. In the NL, it's a lot trickier. Giancarlo, of course, went down. Giancarlo would have been my vote, but I think we're going to give it to a pitcher again this year. I've got to go with Clayton Kershaw. If not Kershaw, probably Giancarlo Stanton, but Adrian Gonzalez up there as well. But when it comes to Kershaw, 1.77 ERA, .86 WHIP, 239 strikeouts. The guy is just sensational. Almost never allows more than 2, maybe at most 3 runs per game. Just an amazing year once again. And the win-loss isn't the most symbolic record, or the most symbolic stat. 21-3 is still pretty good. I like Clayton Kershaw for NL MVP.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to disagree with you, absolutely agree with you on every point there. Clayton Kershaw in the NL, I think he has to deserve the award. Win his second straight NL Cy Young, but also this time I think he's got the numbers to win the MVP. I mean, the guy missed, I believe, around 3 to 4 starts at the beginning of the season because obviously he pitched in Australia, and then he got a little bit injured and banged up, and his numbers are just outstanding. I mean, 21-3, 1.77 earned run average. I mean, that is just unbelievable video game numbers from a guy who is really in the prime of his career. Guys, we have to enjoy this moment right now because we may never see a pitcher be putting up this kind of caliber of number in a long time, because you think of all the all-time greats at pitcher, his numbers are right on par with him right now. So Clayton Kershaw, NL MVP, got to go with that. Mike Trout, on the other hand, a great season for him and the Angels. 98 wins this year. This is a team that had a lot of high expectations the last few seasons, but hadn't been able to get in the postseason. They win their division this year, win the AL, and he was just behind it all. 287 batting average, 36 home runs, 111 RBIs, and great defense in the outfield throughout the season. Got to give it to both of the boys in LA, in my opinion.
Yeah, just before we move on, I would like to congratulate myself. You know, I like to talk about fantasy a lot. Well, I have clinched the trifecta with the victory over Nick Aguilera of National Sports Network. The trifecta is mine: fantasy, basketball, football, and baseball. So just a little shout out to myself. But now, back to the awards. And the Cy Young Award, I think we're both going with Kershaw in the NL, considering we're picking him for MVP. But when it comes to the AL, it's been a lot closer. Of course, Felix Hernandez stealing the earned run average crown from Chris Sale today after a little earned run debacle in his past start, where there was an error awarded to him post-game, which brought his ERA down quite a bit. The last 4 earned runs of those innings were taken away because he was given the error. Otherwise, Felix would have been out of the race, but he